Here's a really fun way we are effing up our intuition. And it is one of the things that most people who are working with their intuition will do, not knowing that it's effing up their intuition. So what is that? If you don't know me, my name is Dr. Ricky Jane Adams. I am an intuition expert, and my job is to help you unf your intuition. This one is so common, it's boring, but it is just routinely accepted that when we connect to our intuition in whatever way, whether we're doing a meditation or we're drawing an oracle card or we're connecting to our guides, we're going to close our eyes. Now, why is that effing up our intuition? Everybody does it. Doesn't it mean that, we're going into this altered state of consciousness and we're transcending all the human drama and we're connecting to some higher power out there? Yeah, if only it was so innocent. It is not. I was recently talking to a beautiful friend of mine about the way in which we perceive those who close their eyes and go into connecting to their guides and start channeling that wisdom are somehow perceived to be more connected than all of us muggles running around on the planet who don't have this power. And this is the first way that F's up our intuition. Intuition is not a magical special gift. It is not for the chosen few. It doesn't exist out there somewhere in the 29th dimension, inaccessible to us mere mortals who all just have to rush to pay money to those who have some super magical connection that we just will never have because we didn't get that gift. That is not how it works. Intuition is so common, it's in all of us, right? So every single one of us is biologically built to be connected to our intuitive knowing. When we close our eyes, what we're signifying is intuition is not in the world. This is a huge problem because if our intuition isn't in the world, then how the hell is it going to help us with any of the human beingness that we're trying to achieve every moment of our lives, right? We are separating it and putting it into this idea of it's otherworldly, it's special, it's magical, it's far, far, far away, and only those who have the capacity, or maybe occasionally us if we're really damn lucky, will have this power to connect to our intuition. Intuition is mundane, and it should be, and that's why it's special, not because it's rare for a few chosen magical beings and the rest of us just missed out. When we close our eyes, we are buying into the separation mentality, which has created the nightmare that most of humanity is living through on this planet right now. We have created this idea that I have to leave my earthly body, my earthly experience, and transcend my humanity to get to the place where intuition is. Intuition is here. It is now. It has been built into our biology so that we have a constant sense of connection to the inherent interconnectedness of all consciousness. We call this the quantum field. It is a scientific fact. All is inherently interconnected. And we are biologically built to be able to tap into that inherent interconnectedness. And we are built to be able to do it with our eyes wide open, going about our day, living our lives, and using that intuitive knowing as a subconscious program that is always on. It's not something that we're turning on and off. And this is the next problem with closing your eyes to access this magical special dimension that holds the intuition, is this idea that it is not here. It is not in the day-to-day, and that it is something that we have to bypass our humanity to be able to access. Now, if it's built into our biology, why in God's name would we have to step out of our normal day-to-day functioning to go somewhere else in our consciousness to access it? I teach all of my students how to be the recipient of their intuition consciously with their eyes wide open. And in fact, this is one of the biggest challenges that most of our students have, and they all do it, by the way. But the resistance is the challenge. The resistance is there because, yeah, it feels really nice to kind of evacuate the present, dissociate, go off into some kind of imaginary higher dimension and go into that place where we get to access this energy. But this energy is all pervasive. It is everywhere, all at once, all of the time. And so when we close our eyes, not only are we contributing to that BS that says this is a special magical place that is not connected to my humanity, that I have to access by dissociating from my humanity, we're creating a separation between us and them, those who have it and those who don't. And we're creating a separation between our humanity and our divinity. And this is massive. It is a massively problematic ideology that is built into so much intuition training, and why my students are invited to learn how to be deeply connected to their intuitive knowing with their eyes wide open. Inherent within that is that there is no checking into our intuition and then checking out of our intuition. So when we close our eyes, we are suggesting that we're not connected to our intuition when our eyes are open. What a terrible technology that would be, to have this built into our biology, but then only operational when we shut down all of our other senses. It's just that you haven't built the muscle. You do not have the strength yet. And if you want the strength, like any other skill, like if you want to learn French, you're going to put in the effort so that you can do it. But imagine if you were learning a language and the teacher said, the only way that you can speak French well is to have your eyes closed. So useful when you go to France and you want to be walking around and buying your baguettes and doing your Emily in Paris moments, crashing into cars because you've got your freaking eyes closed. It would be a really redundant skill to have. And it is exactly the same with intuition. It is a redundancy to say or feel or believe that our eyes have to be closed. We have to be dissociated from our reality and accessing some other magical place, separating our humanity from our divinity, because intuition is a language of that divine quantum field, to be able to access it. No. We do not play that way. We do not play that way. Intuition is mundane. Doesn't mean it's not special, doesn't mean it's not our highest form of intelligence, doesn't mean that it isn't our secret advantage. It is all of those things, but it is readily available to all of us, eyes open, going about our lives, not checking in and checking out. It is on all of the time. And this idea of closing our eyes and tapping into, whether it's a guide or a spirit or your dead nana or the 29th dimension, is creating this idea of this being special and rare and kind of fragile. Like, intuition is not fragile. Intuition is robust, but only when we are willing to do the work to grow the muscle of our intuition so that under any conditions we can maintain that homeostasis, we can maintain that nervous system regulation that allows us to be the conduit for that intuitive knowing. Because we all know what it's like when we are stressed out, when we're afraid. It feels like our intuition goes offline. That's not true at all. It's just the technology, aka your biology, is not in the right mode. So rather than the mode being eyes closed, which, like, only being able to speak French if your eyes are closed is a ridiculous idea. It is when we are in nervous system regulation, when we're in our parasympathetic nervous system, that we are able to activate that technology, right? So that is what we're talking about. Now, yes, closing your eyes and taking a few fully conscious breaths to feel that regulation is a really great thing to do any time of the day, no matter what's going on, taking moments to bring yourself into that parasympathetic nervous system. But keeping your eyes closed is where we're straying into this, oh, it's a mystery, it's somewhere out there, it's got to be, all these special conditions. I have to have my incense and my crystals and my oracle cards. It's not like that. It doesn't matter where I am, what I'm doing. I am ready. I am on. I am in my intuitive flow all of the time, because I am not treating this like a spiritual, fragile, thing that needs to be given all these special conditions. There are conditions, but the conditions are part of what makes us successful humans in every way. regulation of our nervous system, creating stillness, silence, solitude every day. So if you are tempted into the allure of either being that kind of channel for intuition where you are downloading, by closing your eyes and going into a trance state and connecting to, the 29th dimension and all of these different guides or whatever it is for you, you are making the Emperor's New Clothes out of what is actually a biological function that is available to all of us all of the time. And yeah, we want to do the work to make sure that we are in the best state of being to have trust and confidence in our intuition, nervous system regulation, stillness, silence, solitude. But there ain't nothing magical about it. And yet it is our superpower. So both things can be true at the same time. This is the beauty of intuition when we go beyond the new age BS. Whenever we're outsourcing our intuition, we've strayed into trouble. So if you are looking for someone to give you the answers, we've already broken the law. We've already created that separation. The eyes closed creates the separation. It separates the divine from the mundane or the human. It separates me from you. There is no need for it. My intuitive flow does not require me to have my eyes closed. Even when I'm working with others, I am not doing it to give them the answers. I'm doing it to support them to increase access to their own intuitive knowing by taking the steps to create the conditions with their own biology to be in that flow state with their intuitive knowing. The intuition doesn't go anywhere. It's us who fritzes out because we're so stressed out, we're so afraid, we're so attached to outcome, we're so invested in some kind of, future scenario that we don't want to be present to what our intuition is showing us. It might be very different to what our ego wants, right? So this seemingly innocent thing of closing our eyes is actually contributing to the effing up of our intuition. And in the biggest sense, not only is that a problem when we're developing our intuition in a real and authentic way, it is contributing to the nightmare of separation that we are all living through on the planet at this time. If we keep treating intuition as something out there, somewhere else, something special, something that only a few have access to, that can only be done under a full moon with all the crystals in the right place, we are chopping off our own access to our highest form of intelligence. We are separating our humanity from our divinity, and that is why the world is in the state of chaos that it is. So for all of us who work with intuition, no matter how, whether for ourselves or with others, let's do better. Let's move beyond this BS. All of these performative aspects of intuition that are really nothing to do with what intuition is about. Intuition is here and now. Intuition is anthropos. It is the marriage of our humanity and our divinity. It is that life raft or that, saving grace that keeps us connected to our divine truth, even in the chaos of the world we're seeing. And if we want to help end the chaos, we end the performative separation motifs that seem to be so normalized in intuition development that have nothing to do with how intuition actually works. Join me to Unf Your Intuition, January 22nd, 4 weeks. Spend that time with me, gathering together in safety, in community, in nervous system regulation, learning all of the true processes that will guide you home to the truth of your biology as the technology of your intuition in this dimension. Direct source. Nobody needs to do it for you. It ain't special. It ain't magical. But it is your superpower, and you have a right to know how it actually works. Hit me up in my DMs for all the info or head to the link in my bio. I love you. Have the most glorious day. Bye.